Hey guys, it's me. It's Monday morning, March 21st. It's your friend Gabe. I'll tell you, we are ready to attack the week. I hope you guys are doing good. You guys can join me. I'm going to hit play on this. This is a piece I colored for Truth, Justice, American Way. You can watch me color there in Photoshop while I work on some other things. It's Monday. I don't work Sundays. It's the Lord's Day. So I got to catch up on emails and some other things. I did a great piece for Narwhal last week of Nosferatu, and I sent that over to him this morning. And I made a grail scale. I do like to make up words. I have peanut butter in my teeth still. I have peanut butter and coffee for breakfast usually. Mm. Grayscale version of it because I don't know if he's going to publish it in color or grayscale because I realized I made it in color. But then I realized his book is black and white, so he's not paying for color on the book. So I made a gray version, and you actually have to adjust things. Anyway, Leg Kick One is here. Manny Cornejo is here. Hello, you two. And we'll just let people trickle in. I did not, I didn't send out a tweet or advertise this stream at all. I usually don't for the live streams. I usually just like to get going. Shadowhawk Backs is here, but welcome. So I'm going to be working on things, checking emails, doing some stuff. You guys can watch that and I'll read the chat. But yeah, you can join me this morning as I get back from it. Yesterday was a great day. I always take Sundays off and go for a ride with my wife and just take her to lunch and do some shopping and some stuff. We went to Umami Burger up in Irvine at the Irvine Spectrum yesterday. That was pretty great. I don't know if they have them in other parts of the country, but it's a chain out here in California. Oh, wow. I'm getting all the emails that I got yesterday about people buying the comic, and I get lots of emails about that. Truth, Justice, American Way. And I didn't check my email for a day on this stuff. So wow, lots of people coming in and buying things. Fantastic. Fantastique, as they say in France. Wow, lots of you came in and got this thing. Holy cats. Holy cats. No, yesterday was just a day of relaxing and talking to the wife and stuff like that. Let me see what's on the Baradex is here. Shadowhawk Backs. Manny Cornejo, Leg Kick One. Yeah, so I hope you guys are doing good. I watched a great movie last night in preparation for my Wednesday night show that I do with Shantan Jetty. I don't know if we're going to do it this week. He's got some stuff going on, but we'll do it next week if he can't do it this week. But it was, what was it? It was Groundhog Day. And, it's a comedy and this and that, and it's, lighthearted. But as an adult watching something like that, it's very serious and it's actually really great. It's actually really fantastic. For those of you that haven't seen Groundhog Day, the 1993 film starring Angie Dickinson and, of course, Bill Murray, directed by the late, great Harold Ramis. It's a great movie about a man who's just a cynical, selfish, narcissistic jerk, doesn't give a crap about anyone, and he ends up becoming a great person. It does take him a jillion years of living the same. The premise of the movie, he goes to goes to Puxatawny, Pennsylvania, to see the little groundhog that comes out of that thing. Those guys in the top hats and tails. They pull a groundhog out, and if he sees his shadow, there's 6 more weeks of winter. This is always on February 2nd. Now, I don't understand what the actual term, sees his shadow is supposed to mean. I don't know what that means. How do I know what the groundhog is seeing? And why wouldn't you see a shadow? Shadows are everywhere. You can't have light without shadow. You know what I mean? If there's form and there's light, there's shadow. So anyway, the groundhog sees his shadow. So that means there's 6 more weeks of winter after February the 2nd. So whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. But this weatherman, Phil, he doesn't want to work at the small news station being a weatherman. He has all these aspirations of being big and rich and powerful and just a selfish jerk because he is. He doesn't treat people right. And again, this is Bill Murray. He's fantastic in this movie. And he starts living that day over and over and over. And I will spoil it here, the movie. I'm going to just freely talk about it. But you guys definitely should check this movie. Hold on. Someone just texted me, so let me check that. So Rock Korean, I was young in the 90s, turned 21 in 93. Okay, so you're a little bit older than me. Devil Flyer Momentum was here. Jane Pullian is here. Gabe, speaking of the 90s, do you remember Surge Soda? It seemed like even sodas were edgy back then. Yeah. There was, remember Jolt Cola from the late 80s? My childhood was basically the mid 80s to the mid 90s. I think things got started to get slightly SJW, very, very 1%. It started rearing its head in the mid 90s. with political correctness and all that. And we still made fun of political correctness and we tried to be edgy, but that's where it started to come in. But I was talking about this movie from the early 90s and how, I saw the movie last night, and it's Groundhog Day, and it was just astonishingly good as an adult. Because what I do now, I'm 43 years old now. What I try to do now is really, really just savor every moment, every day. I told you guys, if for those of you that came in early, I didn't work yesterday. I don't work on Sundays because religious reasons. It's a Sabbath. I want to not work on that day. God said, take the seventh day off or whatever. That's our tradition. But also, I realized that I'm 43. I've been married for over 25 years, and it went by like that. I remember picking up my son and spinning him by his arm and armpit with one hand. Now he's 5'11" and a half, and how could I do that? He's 23 years old, and the time just goes by. And this is how I looked at it myself. I'm 27 years. In just 27 years, I will be 70 years old. I keep doing that math in my head, and I think I must be missing one. Like, no, it's got to be 37 years, right? Not 27. 30. No, it's 20. I'm 43. 43 plus 27, 70. So what that movie, Groundhog Day, reinforced in me was such a beautiful message about taking every day to be your best and to make your best. And in that movie, he's trapped in this loop, right? And he's living every day the same over and over, and it's torture. And at first, he uses it to be evil. He uses it to get a date. Like, he talks to a woman one day, and he knows since he's going to see her the next day, which will be the same day, she'll be in the same spot at the same time in the restaurant. He knows this thing she likes. So he uses it to, get women in bed, and he robs a bank truck because he knows when they're making the delivery to the bank, and he becomes a pretty bad dude and does anything he wants. And he realized that's nothing but emptiness. So he starts off as a really bad guy, and he gets trapped in this cycle of living the same day over and over and over, and he becomes a worse guy because of it. And then he realizes that's Nowheresville, and he starts to try and be a better guy, but still trying to win the heart of this other lady. And I think even though his heart wasn't in being a good person, I think he did enough and learned enough about life. By the end of the movie, what he tries to do on this day that he keeps repeating over and over, he tries to not do things for himself. He saves a kid falling out of a tree. He saves someone. He tries to save an old man who's going to die of like a heart attack. He tries to he saves a guy with the Heimlich maneuver. He helps this couple that their wedding is going to not go through. They're not going to go through with the wedding. What he tries to do, instead of give himself the best day, what he finally realizes is that loving others and giving everyone in that town within his power the best day he could is what he should do. And then he's like freed from the curse of living the same day over and over and over. I thought it was an amazing message. When I saw it when I was younger, it was just like a quirky, fun, sort of science fiction fantasy movie where he's trapped in the same day and how's he going to get out? But I think as an older person who realizes that they'll be 70 years old in 27 years, I can't believe that when I say that. I think it's really important to try and do your best. And I think your best in the Bible, Christ says, I'll paraphrase, if you love thy neighbor as thyself, then you've fulfilled all of my law, right? So if I treat you and everyone around me the way I want to be treated, then I've done everything I'm supposed to. And I think that's actually the message of that movie. It's quite amazing. So who is here already? We got Leg Kick 1, Manny Cornejo, let's see, Shadowhawk Backs, Barrett X, Chain Pullian, Rock Crin, Devil Flyer, Barrett X, Cranberry Langas. Good morning to you. Let's see. The action version of Groundhog Day, Edge Tomorrow, was good. Good movie, yeah. It's a little, whoa, the science fiction that is a little, you got to really keep track in your head, but yeah. Let's see. DC just announced they're making a Zelensky comic book. They says Zelensky will be similar to Superman, only way gayer and dresses more fabulous. His Clark Kent persona is trans, which helps him hide. You know what? Since it's 2022, I don't know if you're kidding or not. I seriously am like, yeah, they are a propaganda arm of the elite. CNN definitely is just propaganda. BLT, bacon, lettuce. I was trying to think of another food that started with a T and said tomato to be funny, and I just froze on that one. Sorry. Vera Frady's here. Cranberry Lang. Hello. Your comment going to Diamond distribution, not as of now. No. You know what I'm deciding, though? I'm doing Beef Law. Remember Beef Law, guys? Beef Law is my 1990s action-packed twin brother, Chinese mafia, Russian mafia. The main character is an underground pit fighter. This is a Van Damme movie, Beef Law. I'm writing it, I'm drawing it, and I'm doing the whole shebang on it. After Truth, Justice, American Way. It's my book, a solo book, right? And I'm gonna do it as a manga. I'm gonna do it digest size, black and white with the different grayscale patterns on it. I think this. I could change my mind. I'm free to change my mind. I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it anymore. I'm gonna do it as a manga. I think. I read a little bit of Berserk the other day, and then I remembered how much I loved Blade of the Immortal. I collected every single issue that Dark Horse reprinted from like 1997 for like a good 10 years. I kept up with Blade of the Immortal. It was the main comic I collected more than Batman or X-Men or anything. I never missed an issue of Blade of the Immortal, I think, for like 10 years. I've since fallen off. I don't buy comic books anymore. I hate to admit that. But I don't like so many of them. I think the art is gorgeous in a bunch of them, but the writing is so bad in most comic books, I just don't buy them. You know, like when the writing is good in a comic book, I'm a little surprised. So I just quit buying comic books years ago. I'll go out of my way to buy one with great art, but the writing is just atrocious in so many of these. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do Beef Law as a manga. I want to know what you guys think of that. Barrett X was reading some manga yesterday. Love your neighbor as yourself and love God with all your heart. Yeah, and that's all you need to do. I remember Beef Law. I've got to go to lunch, Gabe. Got to make a call. Enjoy your stream. Yeah, I got a little Beef Law right here. Let me show y'all. Beef Law inks. Here's the first page, but I think I might redo it. I think I might draw it more in a Katsushiro Otomo style. I think I might ape his style a little bit from Akira. But yeah, this is the first page of Beef Law. That's Max Volkov. And he's an underground pit fighter, and he has a twin brother named Alexander Volkov, which I'm wondering if I should change the name because there's a UFC fighter who just lost a fight 2 days ago, and his real name is Alexander Volkov. So we got a fighter named Alexander Volkov, and I got a character who's a fighter named Alexander Volkov. So I don't know if I need to change it. But Beef Law is, if you love 1990s, Dolph Lundgren, Van Damme, Steven Seagal, rest in peace, Brandon Lee, all the great guys fighting in the late 80s and the early 90s, Enter the Ninja, American Ninja, Double Impact, Bloodsport, Kickboxer. I want to make a manga. I think I want it to be a black and white digest edition. So it's a little bit smaller. I think that's what I want to do. I think that would be so much fun. So let me know what you think of that. You may disagree, which is okay, but in my opinion, I think the 90s had better music, but the 80s had better films. Ooh, he might be onto something here. Would it read right to left? No, I wouldn't go out of my way to do that. Since I'm a Westerner and I grew up reading left to right, you know what I mean, and then turning the pages from the right to the left, I would do it that way because I wouldn't want to be fighting my own instincts drawing it. That would be like drawing with my left hand, which I could do, but why? Because I'm right-handed. I should do it with my right hand. So it'd be neat to flip it, Barrett X, but I don't think I'm going to go that far. But I think I would like a manga digest. I think I would like to do that. I would love for it to go on and on. I started thinking about like My Hero Academia and One Punch Man and One Piece and weren't all these things great mangas and like Shonen Jump and all that, and they got turned into great animes. So yeah, I don't know. It's something I want to check out. But what am I trying to do here? Oh, I'm trying to download pages of Wraith of God from Aaron Lepresti. Yeah, I love working with Aaron on this. He's doing the work of his career. And it shows. So what I do, and I'm not going to show you my screen. You guys can just get to keep watching that stuff get colored there. What I'm doing is I'm on Dropbox and I'm downloading the pages, right, that Aaron has sent me. So he just sent me up to page 65. We are humming, baby. That means there's only like 13 left. I think we're just going to 78. So we are humming along. Let me yeah, we're humming along. Let's see. So what I'm going to do is I download the pages, and again, I'm not going to show you because I don't want to spoil them. And then I format them for my assistant. I got an assistant, Jose Marie Flores. He lives in the Philippines, and I'm allowed to do that because my best friend is Filipino. I can do a Filipino accent. There was a joke a Filipino guy told me about using the name Paul to do a Filipino accent. So this guy Paul, and he's running around the swimming pool, and his mom wants him to be careful. This is my Filipino friend told me this. Paul, be careful. You might fall in the swimming pool. So there you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Filipinos, some of the best people I know, salt of the earth. What I love about them, they remind me of Mexicans. I'm half Mexican, and they're very, very family oriented. I think there's must be a similar thing culturally there because both of those lands, the Native American land here in the U.S. and just the American continents, and then the Filipino islands, they both have the Spanish explorers during that age of exploration, and they brought Catholicism and all that similar sensibility. And part of the Filipino language is Spanish. Like in Spanish, we say basura for trash. It's that VB sound. It's a B, but it sounds like a V kind of with my grandma's accent. And then the Filipinos, they say basura. And many other languages in the Filipino, I think it's Tagalog. The two main dialects in the Philippines, I believe, are Tagalog and Kapampangan. Those are the two main languages. So I actually know a little bit about Filipinos because again, my best buddy that I've known since I was 9 years old, Filipino guy. So yeah, love the Filipinos. Could I pitch you an idea of a comic? You shouldn't because I'm not going to publish it for you, and then I have your idea now, and you don't. So no, no, no. What you should do is pitch all of us your comic by doing this: write it down, plot it out, design your characters, give your characters backstories, personalities, everything. Draw your characters, even if you can't draw that good. At least draw them for the artist you might hire if you're not your own artist. Then draw 3 to 5 pages. Then show it to us all. That's how you pitch it to the world. You say, look, everyone, look at my delicious food. Come inside my restaurant and eat. Oh, what do we have to eat? We have chicken, we have pasta, we have steak. I've prepared some for you to see. So just make the whole thing, and it's going to take time and patience on your part. Make your world up, make your characters up, make a few pages, then present them to the world. And then you already own it, right? Because you did it. Don't be telling people your ideas. Don't be doing that. Not until you've cooked it a little bit. You got to do some of it. Baradex, I don't know what you're referring to. Rosa Parks is here. You do not have to sit in the back with me. You sit anywhere you want, Rosa. How you doing, Gabe? I'm doing fantastic on this wonderful Monday morning. Let's see. I was telling everyone about watching Groundhog Day last night and how touching it was. How it really got my it really got my noggin going. Would you move? Hold on. Jeez. Darn thing wanna chug. Hold on, I have to restart that. Yeah. Okay, there we are. There we are. Okay, yeah. So you guys saw Werewolf, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't spoil anything. Baradex was referring to drawing your manga left to right. Yeah. That would just make things harder for me since I don't read that way. I grew up. I've known how to read since I was 3. My mother is a school teacher, and I have an affinity for speaking and reading. It's kind of a talent that I have. I'm one of those people that's wired that way, And yeah, I think it'd be weird to swim against the stream, if you know what I'm saying. To force myself to do it the Asian way, the Japanese way. That would be very hard to reverse my thinking on that, and I think the product would suffer for me. So yeah, but do you guys? I mean, does that even sound good? Like a manga digest instead of an American-sized comic and all that, or do we want the regular like 6 point whatever inches by 10 point whatever the regular standard American format for Beef Law, or would we be happier with the smaller format and more pages? I wonder. I'll spread this idea around Comicsgate and see what people think. But I kind of like it, and I do kind of feel like I should do what I like because I think as an artist, when you follow your inspiration and your vision or whatever, then you tend to do your best work. You know what I mean? So okay, so I formatted those Wraith of God pages, and now I'm going to send them to. Now I'm going to send them to my assistant. So I open up Dropbox. I go to that folder that we share. Open up the pages from Aaron, and then I will drop them in the folder that my assistant and I share, and he will. So you guys are watching me work. Again, I'm not showing you the pages, but this is how I work here. Okay, and then I'm going to write Jose an email, and then I'll answer your question. I saw your question down there. Write Jose an email. Jose, then we say WOG, that's Wraith of God, 62 through 65. That's what I always name the email, the pages I'm sending him. So if he has to search his email later, it's easy to find. So I try to, you see how I try to streamline that for work. Jose, WOG 62 through 65 are online. That's all I write him, and I hit send, and then I check the Dropbox, and I see that those pages are in there, and then I go to my color flat folder that he's in charge of, and I download page 6061. He sent me those last night, but again, I don't work on Sundays, so I'll download those off the server, and then I'll delete them off the server to save space. You know what I mean? So yeah, this is how I work with my assistant. Upload. Oh, okay, public. Okay, 60 and 61 can be deleted. Okay, delete. And then I'll check on the chat here in a second. So okay, so I sent Jose 4 more pages that Aaron sent me. There we are. All right. So what's the hardest thing to draw? No such thing. Everything you're drawing is just hold on. Spheres, cones, tubes, cubes. That's all everything is. Horse, motorcycle, building, pineapple. That's all. That's all everything is. It's just a 3D object, right? So we don't worry about that. When you're younger, you're like, oh, I mean, there are things that are tedious to draw because there's little details and they're all in perspective. That's where abstraction, simplifying is your friend and comes in. Things like drawing a team of horses, it wouldn't be hard, it's just tedious, and that makes it emotionally hard. But nothing is actually hard to draw. I can draw any of it because, again, they're all just primitive shapes that you combine and light them. You make the contour, then you make the lighting. That's it. But there are things that are very tedious. If I said you had to draw a motorcycle gang chasing a wagon pulled by 6 horses, oh boy. Or you say there are 2 men fighting like UFC, MMA, and in the arena, and there's like 20,000 people. So when I do beef law and I do underground pit fighting, that's a bit of a challenge, is the backgrounds. So I'm going to beef law. What it's going to look like a lot of the fights is like Street Fighter, the video game, where people are fighting in like just kind of wild places, like they're fighting by the train tracks, or they're fighting by the warehouse, or they're fighting down by the docks, and maybe there's a couple people watching, but we're not going to be having a lot of fights in like organized arenas with 20,000 people. The opening scene takes place, and it doesn't have a jillion people there. There are people watching, but it's just like underground gambling stuff. Would you release it as one book or ongoing? I would love for Beef Law to just be an ongoing book, where I release maybe a volume. If they're big volumes, maybe 1 or 2 a year. You know what I mean? But if I did like 1 a year, then wouldn't it be like 100 pages or something like that? I don't know. But if it's a manga, we'll see. 1 or 2 or 3. I would love 1 or 2 or 3 a year. So we'll see how I divide it up or combine it. Using Windows or Mac? I'm a professional artist. That's the answer to that question. It's a Mac, of course. People using IBM and Windows, and you want to be a professional artist, that's confusing to me. Like at this point, it's like arguing reality. There's no contest between Mac and IBM when it comes to graphics. It's really weird that anyone would use Windows. It's like, guys, we figured it out like years ago. The Windows machines, they're clunky, they update weird, they don't handle the graphics the same. With the new M1 chips, the integrated chips that Apple has created, check out the benchmarks on YouTube. It's not close how much better that Macs handle graphics. That NVIDIA GeForce X whatever, the newest Mac chip blows it away, actually. The most expensive NVIDIA graphics card, the newest Mac integrated chip blows it away on benchmarks. So if you're doing art, please do yourself a favor. Spend the extra money to get a Mac. Stephen De La Vega gave you rock. I do. We release Truth, Justice, American Way digitally. Probably not. I feel like you're just opening yourself up for piracy, but it's whatever the customers want. If they demand it, then I guess we would have to find a way if they demanded it. Hey, Alex, manga style might be cool. Ask RG how he feels about it. Raging Golden Eagle. Okay. Mortal Kombat better than Street Fighter. I won't ban you from the channel, but that's one strike. It's not better. No, you know how you have those loyalties from whatever you saw first as a child. If you were there, the name of this video, to be young in the 90s, Street Fighter was everything. Mortal Kombat wasn't. Mortal Kombat is right up there with Pepsi and Sega Genesis and all that. It's the second place. You know what I mean? Like the 8-bit Nintendo, that's what we all had. And then the one kid in the neighborhood had a Sega. It's like having Legos and then having Constructs or Roblox, or I don't know what they're called, the fake Legos. That's how I feel about Mortal Kombat. It's the fake Street Fighter. Warner Brothers owns Mortal Kombat. It's so weird that DC Comics owns that, and there's not a DC Comics Mortal Kombat. Well, if they wanted to make some money off Mortal Kombat, instead of making these dog shit movies, that movie from last year was so bad. It was like it was like a CW television show. They should have a manga of Mortal Kombat and just get some competent manga writer and artist and have it like a super insane, violent, ongoing Mortal Kombat that's like Berserk. It's just out there. It's the same tone, right? Monsters, other dimensions, ultra violence. It's the same tone. Oh, Shantan Jetty's here. Hello, friend. Uh, Scott Pickering is here. Rock Crin is here. You wouldn't say that if Van Damme was in the Mortal Kombat movie. You're damn right I wouldn't say it, but he's not, so I did. No, I like Mortal Kombat now that I'm older and they made it ultra, ultra, ultra violent. And you like punch someone and you see all the ribs shatter, or you see them get cut in half and you see their brain. To me, that's like comical. The humor there is the humor is pretty funny in Mortal Kombat. But I don't know if you were the name of this YouTube video that I'm making right now is To Be Young in the 90s. If you were young in the 90s like me, I was 14. I was 13 and 14 when Street Fighter blew up. On my 14th birthday, my dad's house almost burnt down because I was playing too much Street Fighter. I used some of my summer money that I had earned, like working at my uncle's house and working for my grandparents' Mexican restaurant, to buy Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo. And my brother and I played it. And it was on my birthday I bought it. And my dad's a gourmet chef, and he was making a huge, huge meal for me and my brother and my grandparents and my aunt and uncle and cousins. Everyone was coming to my dad's house in Colorado, where I would go visit in the summers. Because I grew up in San Diego, but my parents are divorced, so I'd visit my dad and grandparents in the summer. It's funny because they're my mom's parents, but my dad was there with them. And they loved my dad. Even after the divorce, my dad still called my grandpa dad. He called my grandpa dad, and they got along. My dad had my mom's parents, his parents-in-law, even though they were divorced. He had them over every Monday night, and he would cook for them. He would cook my grandpa a T-bone steak on Monday nights, and they got along really well. But I was playing Street Fighter on my 14th birthday, and we teased my dad because he's been a gourmet chef for 50 years. But sometimes he'll be cooking a few things at once, and he has a few ovens in his house. So he'll have the bread going on this side of the house, and he'll have some food going on this side, and he'll have steaks on the barbecue right outside the kitchen out in the yard. And we always tease my dad that he'll say, okay, the steaks are done. Let me grab the potato. The bread. We always tease my dad with the bread. And then he'll bring a basket of blackened French bread to the table for everyone to scrape the ashes off and then spread butter on it. So on this day, we're playing Street Fighter, and we get to M. Bison, the final boss, and I'm using Guile, and we can't beat him. And I remember if you hit continue, it would tell you like how many times it continued. I remember my brother and I, we were like at 101 matches against Bison, and we couldn't beat him. And my dad making all this food for my birthday, he's like, hey, I'm going to go to the store and get carrots or something. I don't know what he was doing. And he was making kefta. Kefta is a Middle Eastern dish of, you take a potato and you cut it like, so it's like a taco, and then you stuff it with ground beef and parsley and onions, and you deep fry it in lard. Delicious, right? Meat, potatoes, onions. How can you go wrong? And parsley. Parsley and beef. Woo, what a combo. So my brother and I were trying to beat Bison. We're playing Street Fighter. We're playing. And all of a sudden I hear like a rumbling. And the way this house is a long ranch style house, and I hear rumbling, and we're in the living room. And if you lean back, you can see to one end of the house, and you see to the other end of the house. It's not those ranch houses. And I'm trying to get this camera on me correctly here. Sorry, guys. Why is that like that? That's weird. And I hear this rumbling, and I lean back from playing the Super Nintendo, and I look to my left, and there's fire from the stovetop range to the ceiling in the kitchen because the grease where the kefta is frying has exploded into a fire. And I'll scoot this over. That way I don't have to lean for the camera so much. It's exploded into a giant flame. So my brother and I are like, ah! And we just throw the controller down. I'm sure Bison beat up Guile when we left, which is cheating, Bison. Bison, you should have had the courtesy to pause the fight while I was trying to put out a fire so my dad's house won't burn down on my 14th birthday. And we run into the kitchen. Lard fire, right? I grab this big container of table sugar, throw the sugar in the sink, fill the container with water. Now, who in the class understands what's wrong with what I'm choosing to do here for this grease fire to fill up about a half gallon of ice cold water? Throw it on the fire, and then I'm like, oh, you can't put water on a grease fire because the grease just floats on top of the water, right? Density, right? We learned this in physics. So the fire goes whoosh, even bigger because of the water. So I'm just, not pouring gas on the fire, pouring water on the grease fire. And so that's bad. So then my brother just like, he resigns himself to his fate and he runs outside. He's going to watch my dad's house burn down. Well, I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of person. And I'm not criticizing my brother, but I'm not a give up guy. So I sprint. And remember, this is that long hallway house, right? The house, it's a ranch style house. I run from one side of the house, the kitchen. I run all the way to the bedroom, and I get this big blue, feels like a sleeping bag, but it's a blanket. Maybe it was a sleeping bag. I get this giant blanket, and I run back to the kitchen, and I beat the fire. And the giant cast iron pan, like a 4-inch deep black pan, like this big, like 12, flips off the stove, filled with grease, lands on the floor, burns a black circle on the floor, and I just beat all the flames on the counters, on everything. Put the fire out, save the day. That would have taken out my dad's house easy. That was an inferno of grease. Got a little burned, got some speckles of grease burning me on my arms, but I did it. I ran towards the fire. I did not run away from it. And so the fire's out, and me and my brother are home alone. He's a year and a half older, so he's like 15 and a half. I'm turning 14 that day. No, he would be 16, because there's a point where he's 2 years older, technically, by numerically. So he would have been 16, I would be 14 and a half. And and like a TV show, look out the window. My dad lives in the country. Like the main road is like a mile or two from the house or whatever. We can see my uncle's big white Suburban coming down the road. And we're like, oh my gosh. And my uncle comes in the front door and he starts yelling, and you fucking kids and blah, 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 you're going to burn your dad's house. And in my defense, my dad said, watch the food I'm going to throw. He didn't say he was deep frying anything. We didn't know what he was cooking. So I have an emotional, like that teenage breakdown, meltdown, outburst. And I run out the house crying, and I'm so upset. And my dad has a lot of land. It's a couple acres out there in the country on this ranch style home. And I hide in the bushes or the trees or whatever. And then my dad comes home from the store with the carrots or whatever was so important. And then he looks for me and he finds me. And then we end up eating and all that. And it ends up all being fine. And he just needed a new bit of linoleum in the kitchen and to repaint the cabinets, actually. So the scorching just, but for years, there was like a dingy stain like on the ceiling or on the wall or something. Just kind of a reminder of what had happened. So Street Fighter is better than Mortal Kombat. It almost burned down my dad's house. Your soul is mine. Mortal Kombat movie has good quotes. It does. It does. Yes. So anyway, glad you're alive, brother. Dang. No, it wasn't traumatic or scary. I mean, in the moment, I was more upset about getting yelled at by my uncle, but I appreciate the sentiment. But I was more upset about how furious and cruel I felt my uncle was. And I definitely don't think it was our fault. Again, my dad didn't tell us he left food frying on the stove. So it's a lack of communication almost brought the house down. Yeah, indeed. Indeed. So that is the birthday Street Fighter Inferno story. For the record, the those same kefta though. Strangely enough, the kefta that was deep frying in there didn't burn. And in fact, there were some of them that were salvaged and they were delicious. Here's a footnote to that story. There were a bunch of leftovers from that party, right? And my dad gave some to my uncle and he took them back home to Denver. Well, guess whose stove burst into flames deep frying leftover keftas next week? That's right, my uncle. And my aunt Karis had to run the kefta outside and throw them in the yard because there was a flame coming up. So if you've ever had kefta, it's delicious. Just don't burn your house down making it. I woke up from a nap. All right, we were wondering when you were getting up. We were going to start drawing on your face with a Sharpie if you didn't get up soon. So anyway, so what you're watching in the background is a recording of me working in Photoshop, working on Truth, Justice, American Way. You see some of my process there. I recorded a lot of the stuff I do. I recorded stuff I've done for Eric July. We can't talk about it yet, but I can't wait to show you those. But this is my book that I've created with David Williams, and we'll be closing this out in like a day or two or something like that. We want to get to 50,000 on the first 30, and then we want to go into orbit in the next 30, and then into demand and all that. But hold on, let me take a drink, and I want to pitch you on this book, okay? Oh, I like this comment here. 90s highlights: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and The Crow are the greatest comic book movies ever. I need to watch The Crow again. I remember it was good, but I saw it once. Ninja Turtles I would watch over and over and over and over, but I never saw the third one, Turtles in Time. I saw the first one and I saw the second one. The second one with Vanilla Ice and Toka and Razor. Remember Toka and Razor were the stand-ins for Rocksteady and Bebop? You're stupid babies. I just remember him yelling at Toka and Razor saying that. The Crow. Remember when everyone dressed up as the Crow that Halloween? Shame it never regained that popularity. Yeah, I mean, just the tragedy of the Brandon Lee getting shot by accident was just understandably tainted that movie's legacy. It's a good movie. It's an exciting, dramatic movie, but it's just really sad. It's just kind of sad to watch. Like this young, handsome, charismatic guy cut down pretty bad. Okay, so I'm gonna pitch you guys on this because I put the link in the chat and the description for Truth, Justice, American Way. I don't want you to click it just yet. Let me pitch you on what the story is, and then when I do that, you're going to want to click it and then go buy it. Because I made a mistake out the gate on this. I kept everything secret about this book. We showed you a page. We showed you some awesome art. And I know everyone thought, oh my gosh, this art is amazing. These concepts are cool. What's it about? And then I was like, I don't know. I didn't tell anyone what it was about for, I think, a good solid 2.5 weeks. I was wrong. It was wrong, but it's fine. I recover from that. We recover from that. So here's what it's about. So, Truth, Justice, and American Way, they are America's sweethearts. You got kids everywhere wearing the t-shirt, eating the cereal, playing with the action figures, playing the video game, watching the cartoon. These three are on all the late night talk shows, making everyone laugh and scream with absolute delight. To say this is one of the great love affairs between the public and celebrity is putting it lightly. They're just toast of the town. People love these guys so much. It's crazy. This is Beatlemania and Bieber fever all rolled into one. One day, the absolute worst happens. Disaster, tragedy strikes, and many, many lives are lost. And in the fallout from that, and we know how it is, social media, news cycle, 24-hour news cycle, people start looking into the disaster like, hey, did Truth, Justice, and American Way, our heroes, did they do everything they could to save lives? Because it sure as hell doesn't look like it. And they look at other disasters, other evil attacks and stuff, and they're like, hey, hold on. They could have saved a lot more lives. They're just enjoying their celebrity. They're out there just hot dogging it, worried about private jets and limousines. And like that, and we know how it works with social media, guys. Like that, everyone turns on them. They go from toast of the town to absolute pariahs. Government and military after them. Their friends won't talk to them. Bank accounts froze them. They have to abandon their the location is publicly known, their headquarters, because they're such celebrities. They have to abandon that. They go underground. They go on the run. They have to figure out who did this horrific attack and why. And will they even be able to trust each other while they're trying to figure this out? Well, they better hurry up, because if they don't solve this and expose the truth, a new disaster is coming. And this time it'll cost millions of lives. That is what Truth, Justice, and American Way is all about. The first volume, at least. There's going to be many volumes of this. So if you love that, there's a link in the chat and there's a link in the description. Go out, support this book, support people like me who are trying to I'm trying to uplift people. I'm trying to entertain them, number one, but I'm trying to give people inspiration and help. I want this story to be like a roadmap. I talked about this with Shant the other day. These are maps showing people what's possible, showing people that you can be brought all the way down to your knees, your life crumbled in front of you in pieces. And if you rely on your heritage, you rely on the character that you've been taught and trained yourself to have with the community and the world around you, that you can come back, that there's a way back from absolute heartbreak. So please check it out, guys. Sean threw the link in the chat. Ellie Munoz is here. Comic Talk with Pops Van Zandt is here. Rock Crin is here. Oh, Zaid Comics is here. Hello. All the buddies are here. So we're having a good time. We're having a great time. Let's see. Okay, so what am I up to right now? Oh, Jacob Hernandez. Midday stream saving me from having to listen to my coworkers. You're welcome. You're welcome, friend. Let's see. What was I going to do next? Oh, okay. I was working on these Wraith of God pages, which I cannot show you. I may not show, but I was working on them, and I was putting in flat colors. So my assistant puts in the flats. That's where he lays in just basic shapes of color, but those colors are random. What I then go do myself is put in the actual flats, which are the colors that I'm going to use. So let me show you an example of that on a page I've already done that I can show in public. Hold on. Let me dig that up there. Wraith of God, 60, 61. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go find one. Hold on. What have I already shown? Oh, I know what page I've already shown. Wraith of God, Wraith of God. Here it is. I think it's page 9. I already showed it to everyone like in October, November, or something like that. It was a way long time ago. Let's see. Open. So I'll show you what flats. I'll show you what I was talking about. Okay. So let me pause this video here, and then I'll bring this over here. Let's see. I'll bring this over here. So the way this stuff works, guys, is Aaron will send me inks, right? Aaron will send me something like this. Let me scoot this over. Aaron will send me this, and I'll format it and make sure it's in the right file format, like a TIFF. You want a TIFF with LZW compression. That way you have very good compression on the file size, but you don't lose details. And there's a lot of, I could go over all the Photoshop settings, but it could be a little tedious and boring. So this is what Aaron sent me. Look at that. Holy cats. So I'll send that off to my assistant, and what he'll send me, what he'll end up sending me is this. Okay, but not really. He won't send me this. What he'll send me is this. Hold on. He'll send me something like that. He'll separate every shape, but he'll just pop in random colors. Now, why? Well, he doesn't know what colors to use exactly. Okay, but because if he knew what colors to use, then he'd be doing this, not me. So he'll send me something like that, and then I'll change it to this. I'll pick out the base colors, right? And in painting, you usually would work from lighter to darker just because of the way the paints are going to cover each other. You can put light colors on top of dark, but it's easier to go from light to dark. In computer colors, yeah, I find because of using the screen mode for a brush, it's much easier to go to medium dark to light. So then I'll have this layer here, the rendering on top. So this is a separate layer, you see? And the entire point of the flats is so you can use the magic wand tool and you can select that. So now I've just selected her dress, right? So I can only affect her dress. So when I have a brush, see this brush here floating in the air? I'll click it over the holy water, nothing happens. But if I click it over her dress, things start to happen. And that's the entire point of the flats. So you can use odd shaped brushes and nothing will happen to the other stuff. It's like a frisket in painting for those of you that know about. It's a mask, a frisket, whatever you want to call it. I like the word frisket. It sounds like a biscuit or whatever. Let me check on the chat real here. So that's what I'm up to right now. Dungeon Master Blaster. Oh, that page looks dope. Let's see. What do we got here? What am I up to? Answer 6'4". Yes, I am a mighty man. 6'4". Yes, indeed. Buddies, we're going to have a good time. There is a DC versus Mortal Kombat fighting game for PS3 and Xbox 360. Yeah, I've seen that. I'm telling you, they should have like a Berserk style manga published by DC Comics of Mortal Kombat, and it's got to be over the top sexy, over the top violent, and middle school and high school boys everywhere and other people will just eat it up. It's free money, DC. It's free real estate. So that's what I'm up to with Wraith of God. Now I'm working on other pages. Obviously, I can't show you what I'm working on. But I hope you like watching me work on those iconic heads for Truth, Justice, America Way in the background. You know? And then I was saying earlier, for those of you coming in later, Beef Law is coming back into progress. I've been doing a lot of work on Truth, Justice, American Way, campaigning for it, all that stuff. But I'm thinking of doing Beef Law as a manga-style digest, like maybe 80 pages, maybe 120 pages, and do it in that little digest size. I was thinking, I would love to do that. So it's a lot of work, so I don't know if I will, but I'm starting to think about it that way, Beef Law. So I don't know if people would like the smaller size or not. Bernadette is 6'1", also known as sixth grade for me. Teasing. Zayd Comics, though, he's the tallest guy around here right now. He's 6'5", so he's an inch taller than me. Yeah, but I got him. I got him by like 70 pounds, though, and it's muscle. I'm not a disgusting fat body. Beef Law, indeed, indeed. Shant, I don't know if you can do Groundhog Day Wednesday for Double Impact, and I understand you got a lot going on, so maybe we can't do this week. I watched it last night, and watching it now at 43, I haven't seen it in years. What a beautiful story. So inspiring. So absolutely inspiring. Yes, free real estate. Absolutely. I have a friend I want to interview on my YouTube channel who his first job when we left college was being a production assistant on Tim and Eric's show. So I wonder if he would be able to tell us some stuff about that, you know? So yeah, that might be fun. He's my friend Josh Opitz. He works behind the scenes in Hollywood on a lot of TV shows. So absolutely. But let's see. Yeah, the movie is absolutely beautiful. Well, hey, do you want to come in and talk about it a little bit since you maybe can't come in Wednesday? I don't know. I got about a half hour before I'm going to exercise and have some lunch and stuff. If you want to come in, I'll send you the link. You just let me know. Japanese call those tankobons. What are tankobons? What are we talking about? What is a tankobon? I don't know. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Bing it with Google. Tankobon. Tankobon. I'm going to duck Google it with Google. Tankobon, a bunkoban edition refers to a tankobon printed in bunko format or a typical Japanese novel size volume. Bunkoban are generally A6 size. They're listing the shit in millimeters. Oh no, 4.1 by 5.8 and thicker than tankobon. Yeah. Oh, it's like a standalone manga. Okay. Yeah, I do think I want to do that. I don't know. I do think I want to do that with Beef Law. Since the subject matter is like insane fighting and stuff, I do think that's what I want to do. You know, so I think we just have 3 days left on Truth, Justice, America Way's first 30 days. So, oh, you want to come in? Fine. Invite. Copy the clipboard. Okay, check. Go to your Twitter. I'll bring you in. I'll bring you in, and we can have a Monday morning edition of Double Impact, and we can talk some talk a little bit of Groundhog Day. I want to get your take on it. Where are you? Okay, here you are. Here's the link. Okay, Shant, I just sent it to your Twitter, so you should be able to come in. So invite guests to the broadcast studio. Okay, done. Okay, so just let me know when you want to come in, and we'll pop you in. But yeah, I'd love to hear your take on it. Luke Korolowitz art. Holler if you hear me. Oh, I didn't hear you. I read you, but close enough. So I'll holler. What would a holler be? Just like going, "Whoa," or something like that. Tim and Eric was the worst. Yeah, it has its little moments that are funny, but mostly it was just whatever humor to me. It was going on absurdist cringe humor. I think if you did drugs, you would get it more. And I'm not even trying to be funny or insulting. I really do think if you were into mushrooms and acid, which I don't recommend, I've never tried it, but it's probably not good for your brain. But I think, yeah, if you were into that kind of stuff, then it'd be funnier. Barrett X, most manga releases chapters that are similar length to floppies, then they're collected into tankobons, like how the US does. Oh, so tankobon is just their graphic novels. And the releases chapters in things like Shonen Jump and all that, right? Where the Shonen Jump will have 5, 6, 7 different comics in it. And then out of there, I think the successful ones get turned into tankobons. So I just call them digest size mangas. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's the way I want to go with Beef Law and Black and White. I've been inspired by Daniel Warren Johnson and all his amazing fighting stuff. You ever watch the cartoon Cops? Yeah, I did see Cops, and there was the bad guy. His name was Big Boss. Yeah, see, and he had that voice, whatever that voice was. Hey, bud, how you doing?
Good, man. What's up?
Not much. So what's going on this Monday morning for you? I guess it's already Monday afternoon there on the East Coast. I'll fix my
Yeah, man.
camera, but how you doing?
I'm doing some layouts. I'm working on the last section of Nosfero, and I have to tell you, man, this it'll make me small so I can see your artwork.
Yeah, hold on a second.
That stuff's too beautiful.
There we go. There we are. So go ahead. So what's up?
Oh, you were talking about Groundhog Day, and I got to tell you, man, I think I have to start off by saying I obviously it's a masterpiece, but I think Andie MacDowell in that movie is absolutely stunning, and I mean that in the sense of you get why he falls in love with her.
Yeah.
What a woman.
She has that thing that we all need to strive for more of. She's just kind and loves people and cares about people. And I think this is a ridiculous thing, but I'll stand by it, and I know it's true. Guy Fieri has it. And that's why, like, narcissist SJWs hate him, because all he does is go around, oh my gosh, you guys own a donut shop? That is so cool. And your grandfather opened it. And whenever I see Guy Fieri, what makes him so charming to me is that he just loves everyone and everything. He's
Yep.
like so appreciative and positive about the world. And Andy McDowell, she comes across that way, that she's just like, everyone is awesome. You can see the bright side to everything. And she just has this beautiful soul in that movie.
She does. She does. And I will tell you that you were talking about seeing that movie, in the age demo that we're in right now, and I think that's it's been selected for preservation for the film archives, National Film Archives. It's a movie that just really speaks to what matters in human life, and if
Oh yeah,
anybody's looking for a shot in the arm,
yeah,
to make them just get up and go, what can I make from this day? That's the movie for it. And hail, love, God, Bible, truth, by the way. See you in the chat there. And everybody who's been saying hey in the chat, great to see you.
right. We're gonna have to do something about this though.
Mm-hmm.
No, strong disagree, friend.
I'm a little freaked out. I saw Ethan talking to Rich Ayala last night, and I've been watching Rich. I had no idea he's a Rhode Islander. And then
Ooh,
somebody else in the chat went, and I live in Bristol, and I was like going, between that and finding out that Dan Lawless grew up in the same neighborhood as I did in the 80s when I was living in Michigan. I mean, comic skates, the degrees of separation, man, are getting pretty specific. It's
right,
nuts.
right.
We're pretty sure we're Van Dam brothers. We don't know how that worked out, but it is what it is. But yeah, man, I'm amped for so what day is the first 30 days closeout for Truth
I got an
Justice?
email this morning saying 3 days. I don't know. I'll have to go into the system and look.
Okay.
I don't know exactly, but I think it's sometime Wednesday.
Mhm.
Maybe I should just close it out Tuesday night and then add the days. I don't know. Because I don't have to add the days when it runs out, right? I could do it at any time. I could do it now, but
Yes,
it'll
you
just
could.
change that countdown on the front page.
Well,
So,
what we did with Vaughn when we did the closeout on Eric Weather's channel, he was thinking a similar thing, like let's all go to bed. But maybe the chat's got some Ned Ryerson. Sorry, the chat just cracked me up.
it's a
Uh,
doozy.
Ned Ryerson, God, that guy is hilarious, man.
Yeah, that's
What an
Stephen
actor.
Tobolowsky. He's great, man.
And
He's
he's a soulful dude himself. But
yeah,
the thing is that it was frankly, it was wild. It was for all three of our campaigns, but we all kind of got in touch and we're like, you know what, guys, we're tired. Let's do a closeout stream. When it got down to 30 minutes, we added the time on, but we kept track
uh-huh.
of when it would be up. And we got to, I forget what number we hit, but we hit a pretty impressive number on that stream. And I just think people, maybe the chat will let us know. I think that it's a good it's a good sorry, my daughter just sent me a question from school. My 16-year-old daughter going, what's the message about community and the path of Rama from Hindu mythology? And I'm like, I can't do that right now. My brain can't go there right now. but it's one of those things to where there's just this fuel and there's this energy when we do those closeouts for the first 30 days. And
Right.
I'm psyched about it. And no matter where I am or what's going on, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my webcam. I won't have my good mic with me.
Sure.
But we got to figure out a way to do something. It's got to be done, man. I think like, I feel like we should tie it to something. I don't know how I'd pull this off, but depending on what location I'm in, which will not be disclosed, maybe we could tie this to, if we hit a certain goal, I have to eat, or I will celebrate by eating a country fried steak. There's no rules
Oh,
when
poor
it
baby.
comes, you know. I mean, I'm willing to take that for the team. I will
Yeah.
even eat some Krispy Kremes,
Oh no.
just to show my commitment to this and
Right.
raise my cholesterol.
Not chocolate ones though, right? I mean,
Well, and I'm going to tell you this too. You keep bringing up your height all the time and then Phil's height all the time. Let me tell you something. I
right.
went to my doctor and my doctor said to me, Sean, you have a cholesterol like you're 7'2".
There you go.
And I took that to heart. Like literally it went straight to my
Oh,
heart.
oh,
But I'm
oh,
working on it. But dude, that stuff is beautiful. I love your process stuff, man. It's like
thank
magic.
you. I had to pause it and throw
Hmm.
this up here when people said the
Yeah,
East Coast
please.
is better. I just want you all to know I live within 3 miles of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I live about 4 miles from here.
Yep.
So we don't have winter over here. We have this all year. So
Yep.
take that, you East Coasters. How dare you? How dare
Absolutely
you?
right.
How dare you? No, I do miss the seasons. I went to college in Colorado, and the winter was nice
Well,
to have snow.
Colorado is, I've never been, but
Oh,
right,
really?
everybody says it's beautiful, you know.
It is. It's one of those states where it's being ruined because too many people are moving there.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but it's a really nice place. I lived there when I was little, and then I went back there to go to college. But I was born there. But yeah, I don't know. For the closeout thing, the thing you were talking about. First of all, can I see on Indiegogo's page somewhere like exactly when it closes? Is that like Tuesday 9 p.m.? Like, do they have that info?
I
Because I
think
haven't.
they have that in there somewhere. It's under the God. There's some counter or there's some, I forget
Um,
where I found it, and now I
okay.
won't be able to find
Well, I'll
it.
go
But
into campaign editor and then I'll go into basics.
mhm.
Maybe it's in there because I think that's where you can extend it. Let me see.
Let me take a look. I'm gonna go in. I don't think I'll be able to see mine, obviously, but I'm gonna see where it's located
Well,
in this.
in demand starts March 24th,
Okay.
12 a.m. Pacific time. Oh,
Okay. So
okay. Campaign is scheduled to end March 23rd, 11:59 Pacific. So
So
March
that means
23rd.
that'll be at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, 2:59 in the morning,
Going
and
into
where I
Thursday.
will be 1:59 in the morning. So yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Okay,
that's good. So
yeah.
we know the date. So the big trick is the day. And sorry, what day did they say it was? The
Wednesday midnight California time.
Okay, and but is that Tuesday
Oh, 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 oh,
night
oh.
we'd be doing it? Do you see what I'm
No,
saying?
no, 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 no. So I guess it's Thursday. It would be Wednesday night turning into Thursday.
So wait, what's the exact time it says it ends?
11:59. So it's right on the
PM.
day
Yep.
change, March 23rd, which is
Sweet.
Wednesday.
Wednesday night. Good.
So
Good, good.
Wednesday night going into Thursday, midnight.
So what
Yeah, so
we
it does say I
and it
found it right here.
Yeah, and so it goes to, what's going to do is it's going to go down to the counter once you get to the last, like it'll say 1 hour left, and it's weird, like the countdown's always very strange. It's like
Right.
about what time it is, and then it just suddenly, after it says an hour for a bit, it'll go 59 minutes or something, and you go, wait a second, what was the last hour?
Right. Right.
But once it gets down to there, what I usually say to people to do is, and you're like me, it's not like every error that tends to happen with that stuff is usually about, sometimes it can involve alcohol, I found. And other times, so what all you have to do is you have to just make sure about 30 minutes before closeout to go in there. You change it, then you hit save changes or save
Right.
and go to the next page, which is the big trick there to make sure it goes through at the bottom when you do it. And
Oh,
and then it will because sometimes and then you can just go to your campaign and you'll see it'll add the days.
yeah.
And if it doesn't, we go back and we sort it. It's not a big deal. But I
Right.
just feel like the celebratory aspect of the first 30 days, this is a big deal. I know
Right.
you talk about it a lot, but I don't get to talk about it enough. So I'm going to talk about it.
Please do.
You on principle and passion have wanted to come in and build something here, and you've done it with your work ethic and your creation of this book to add new flavor to CG and walk away from the big industry. And I think that I want to celebrate that. At 30 days, I've gotten to know over the last, since we've become Van Dam brothers, I've gotten to know your family. I've,
Right.
seen you and your son going to,
UFC.
UFC. I've
Oh,
seen your
fun.
daughter's comedy career explode. I've had the opportunity to talk to your amazing wife, who apparently is an amazing cook as well.
Yeah.
Is all the other amazing things she is. And I sort of feel like it's a great time for us to celebrate, and it also gives the book this exciting push as we go into that final 30 days. It's a midpoint, and for fans and for your fellow creators, it's a great chance for people to drop in and sort of, what's funny is that let's tie it to Groundhog Day. What Groundhog Day taught me big time is that any opportunity there is to celebrate with the people close to you and spend quality time should never be missed. And for
Right.
CG, that first 30 days is a chance for people to throw money into campaign and get people pumped and talking about it. And then we got that last 30-day push, but it's a great midpoint celebration, man. It's
Okay.
big.
Well, you sold me on it. I was gonna skip it, but now I'm gonna buy 10 copies.
That's right.
You just
Hey,
sold
I've
me
already
on
got
that.
3 copies coming to me, man. I'm there.
Cool.
I'm there.
Very
All
cool.
3 covers.
Very cool.
I mean, and everybody knows this in the chat, man. And Gabe and I, like, people don't. This is the thing. I know this. We've gone over this a bunch of times. When people talk to me about, Comicsgate and me leaving, the hallowed halls of academe, and more like, sort of like Sleepy Hollow in that sense. But anyway, but this is the thing about it is that it's really nice to be around people who are passionate about art, but also passionate about their families, and it's been great to hear everybody in CG, who's got kids. We talk about our kids, our significant others, and they're as involved in this. Hail, Son of Liberty Radio. It's great to see you. Apex Comics, all of you guys, Jacob Hernandez, Literature Devil. It's great to see all of you guys.
Yes.
I mean, it's guys, and I think all of you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel, but if you haven't, please do, because we're trying to build something here that is a true, according to Hoyle, indie movement where great artwork gets made. And it means we're creating our superhero IPs. I know people are psyched about B-Flaw. I know people are psyched about Truth, Justice, American Way, because you've got people like David Williams, who is an outstanding artist, does incredible character work. And then you've got one of my heroes, one of my inking heroes, Gary Martin, who is, again, one of the cruelest people in comics behind a smile. In terms of his cruelty to Aaron Lopresti. Come on, seriously, man.
That was a classic story.
That is classic, though. But see, that's the stuff we all laugh about, though, for the rest of our days. Like, that's what makes life beautiful, right?
Right.
And so to me, it's these things where we kind of like we hang out and we sort of celebrate that first 30 days. And I was, that's the thing I've come to love about CG is that we don't miss an opportunity to celebrate our accomplishments, sometimes obnoxiously, but most of the time because those good times are what keep us going. It's, we all make this stuff happen. I mean, when I look at Truth, Justice, American Way, and I can't overstate this, we're at $41,542, but the big number for me too as well, in addition to that, is 643 backers, 643 people who are investing in this IP, who love this idea of this IP and want to bring it to life. And the more people that get behind this project, the bigger, bolder, and more beautiful it's going to get. And I was thinking about my own take on this. So I think at some point, I don't know if it was David Williams or yourself, who was talking about an affection for not the Justice League, the show. Was it Super Friends? Was that the show?
I believe so. Yeah.
That one of you guys was talking about that was a huge influence. Who was it who was saying they were influenced by that?
I feel like Gary Martin said that. I don't know. No,
I can't remember.
Maybe it was Dave. Maybe you're right.
I'm not sure who it was, but anyway, if you notice very quietly in the trailer, at one point, I have the transition sound effect masked in backwards in reverse in the trailer for Truth, Justice, American Way. So I made a reference to to someone who had brought that. I forget who it was who brought that up. But in the trailer itself, because I'm 100% sold on it. And oh God, I love what you do with metal, man. That's sick.
That's fun. I learned that getting pushed in the deep end of the pool at Wildstorm.
Yeah, Wildstorm.
You're going to color some of the Authority. And remember the engineer, the woman that was all metal?
Yes.
I just had to start coloring her in the issue of the Authority. I'm like, well, you better figure this out. Because up to that point, before I started at Wildstorm, I probably colored 100 pages of comics or something, less than 200. I hadn't colored much. I just had a natural knack for coloring comics. I've been drawing since I was 3. I've been coloring since I was 21. And I got hired to color professionally. You know what I mean? So I didn't have a lot of study with color theory or anything. There's 2 things in my life that I just took to so naturally is biology. I always got an A in biology, elementary, middle school, high school, college. There was a year of biology where I got all the classwork, the homework, and the tests, 100% on all of it. And I can't explain it. I feel like when I hear biology, I've heard it before. That's the only way I can explain it. And coloring, when I do it, I feel like I've heard this before somewhere. I don't know why. I don't feel like I have to learn much about it. I'm like, no, that color makes sense with that one and this level of value. And I have had those 2 experiences where I just feel like I don't know. I don't believe in past lives or any nonsense like that. But I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I already heard this somewhere. So anyway, thank you for the compliment on the coloring. So
Dude, it's beautiful. I don't understand why you can't go back in time. Like, we have to invent a time machine. It's not Groundhog Day, but I want to invent a time machine. Can you go back in time to Wildstorm and just steal a bunch of Travis Charest originals for me? Because I really think
right.
that, if we're close, you should be willing to make that happen for me, man.
I do have some great original art. I have Tony DeZuniga, 11
Oh
or
my
no,
gosh.
18 by 24 Jonah Hex on horseback.
Mhm.
He just gave it to me at San Diego Comic-Con about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because he was bringing art home to his daughter in the Philippines. So I was drawing this Wolverine, and
Hail the
he said, "I'll
Philippines.
trade you this for that." And I was so humbled, like, really? And mine wasn't even the same size. Mine was like a 9 by 12 or something, and I was me, and he was Tony DeZuniga, creator of Jonah Hex, among many other
Yeah.
feats of artistic mastery. So,
Speaking of art, we've got Art T-Bear in the chat there. We've
oh,
got
is
the
he
bear,
here? I don't see him. Where?
the man with the fish. God, that was the
Oh,
most fun intro out of all the intros I did. That the Art T-Bear one was the one I had such a blast. Aaron's and Art's were
yeah.
a
And the Mike
blast.
Barron one is everyone loves the Mike Barron one.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, that's the thing, right? It's whenever Ethan asks me for, to do stuff like that, it's always a blast. I feel like there's a couple other people I got to do that for, but I've been making videos for my channel, and then doing, working on Nosfero like crazy, but I know he'll hit me up if he needs something. But
Right.
but it's great to see. I do love fish art. That was just fortunate. Well, I love Art T-Bear, and I remember getting, and I think Art will have to correct me on this, but I was at a convention back in the day when I was showing my work around, or it could have been maybe it was like a Diamond Distribution con. I can't remember, but I think there was a black and white ash can that was produced back in the day that I had, in addition to black and white proper. But I remember at a con I got a black and white ash can, and I, of course, like all tragic comic book stories, I lost my collection in a move. But yeah, it's crazy to be able to see, that huge, I believe 6-figure campaign from Art T-Bear. So
I
congratulations to
think he
Hale,
just
brother.
passed 100,000. Yeah.
He's the man. Yeah,
Yeah.
the man with the inks. Beautiful. And the pencils, for God's sake. That's what's so crazy, man. I call you triple threat, but it's like I look at all of these guys, and everybody's, got editors working on their great editors working on their projects. I think I'm not sure if Joe working with Art.
I have no idea on that.
Because I know he works with Michael, and he's another great dude in CG, but Art is just one of those other fellow triple threats: drummer, penciler, inker, writer, quadruple threat. It goes crazy. What's up, Cranberry Langers? It's good to see you. But I just love being around artists and people with families and talking about all of this stuff. God, I love. When are you going to tell us more about these characters here, or have you? And I've just missed it.
I haven't, but soon. I think in the second 30 days, much more will be revealed. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes. I got to take it all,
Yeah.
day at a time, what I'm up to here. If you guys knew some of the stuff we're dealing with, it's very interesting and it's very good. It's building things very strong. So, but there's always what's public facing, what the people see. And then there's, Sean, there's what everyone sees about Nosfero. Then there's what's happening day to day in your household about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And those things are very dynamic and different. So, absolutely. But, I know that, again, I didn't reveal nearly enough of this when it came out. And that's just, to me, that's a good thing. I don't believe in failure. I believe in A/B testing. And when you do something and it doesn't work, that's a gift. I think that what people consider failure, I consider it a gift, because that's how you figure out what the truth is. When we win and we succeed, we generally know why we won, but we know a lot more when we fail, when we make mistakes.
Yeah.
That's instructive because it tells you it's the process of elimination. It says, don't go down that path. That one doesn't work. It's like, oh, okay, I won't do that one. So I feel like keeping everything so close to the vest, absolutely a mistake. So I just won't do that again for sure. You know what I mean?
Art's got a beautiful quote there in the chat too. Really good comment there, which I could say for myself as well.
Yeah.
My success is all because of CG. Thanks to everyone. A very humble and skilled artist. And at some point, Art, I got to have you on my channel. I want to do an interview like I did with Michael Bancroft. And the same thing goes for you, Gabe. I think I know I talked to Vaughn about that. For the next 30 days, we'll put it at, because there's always the midpoints that are hard. Let's plan that interview to be, at a really ideal shot in the arm, kind of period. And it's like, I was thinking to myself, I looked at my campaign this morning, we're almost to 22K, and 25K is where trading cards happen. And if you told me we'd be here when I started this thing, it's all thanks to CG. It's all thanks to, the support from so many people. And you're right. I mean, we learn a lot from, the folks who are, you can be buying. I mean, I've been buying books in CG and I've been around it, but when you get to this point where you're launching your own campaign, we benefit so much more from the experience of people who've been, doing it for a couple of years now. And, I couldn't be more excited to see the success everybody's having. And, just this thing just keeps growing, as we say in the South, it keeps growing like kudzu.
Kudzu, what the hell is it? Kudzu a type of grass or something? Or is it
it's a type of invasive species vine that just covers everything. It grows like a foot a day or something like that. It's insane. Completely crazy.
Barrett X, I want to get into CG as a writer. Well, you're in when you decide you're in. The only thing standing between you and being a writer is practice. And then you in today, 2022, what you have to do, what we all have to admit to ourselves is, 100 years ago, or a little more than 100, the automobile was invented, right? Henry Ford and all that stuff. And there were probably farmers that had their horse and buggy, and they said, I ain't getting one of them newfangled cars. And you know what happened to guys like that thought they were going to keep their horse and buggy and compete? They got their ass handed to them, and they went out of business. Okay.
Yeah.
So the car shows up. You got to give it the time to get the car. I say that to tell you this: social media is the car. Being off social media is the horse and buggy. If you think you're going to do this without Twitter and YouTube and Instagram, you're sorely mistaken. So yes, you have to be a writer, Barrett X, but you're going to have to come on here on your own YouTube, your own Twitter, your own everything. And it makes me laugh because you got to build it. And I've had people ask me, Gabe, how did you get your channel to 7,000 or 6,900, whatever it is? So, well, all I did is practice drawing since I was a little kid, fall in love with Jim Lee's art, try to get a job at Wildstorm. 17 years later, Jim Lee hired me, freelance for them for 15 years, then dog cuss them on Ethan Van Sciver's show because of all the SJW nonsense, go globally viral for 72 hours, and then post more videos. So
Can I translate that? Can I translate that for you?
That's all you got to do.
What he's trying to tell you is he was an overnight success.
Right. All you got to do.
So Michael Bancroft and I had the same conversation. He's like, I did web comics for this many years. I worked at all these studios. It's like, man, overnight success, right?
Yeah. Shin Akakage. Yo, what up, Gabe? I appreciate you and your contribution to comics. Also, I appreciate your Brandon Lee Showdown Little Tokyo thumbnail. R.I.P. Brandon Lee. Check out my show from last week with my co-host right here, Sean. We broke that movie down. We love that movie. That might be the greatest 90s action movie. It's from 1991, and it has all the tropes and all the things we love about 90s action. It's fantastic, that movie.
Yeah.
So, Sean and I have a show Wednesday nights called Double Impact on this channel where we break down the great entertainment that's missing nowadays from the 80s and 90s. And it goes deep. We talked about how those things, they're frivolous entertainment, but they're not. They are, as Sean put it, they're maps to people on how to be brave, how to overcome oneself when you're tempted to do and say the wrong thing, and to chicken out or to give in to your passions. All these crazy Steven Seagal, Van Damme movies, they look stupid on the surface, which is part of the fun. But if you really look into what they're saying about bravery and humanity, it's a very important thing. And I think, like disgusting medicine, sugar helps the medicine go down. So when you package these ideas about masculinity and bravery and sacrifice and dying for the cause, when you package them into fun martial arts, that's the sugar to help that great message go down, to inspire people.
Yeah, and what I love about it is, hail Scottsy, good to see you. And hail Jimmy Reyes, I just saw you in the chat there. This is the thing I always say, and well hung in dung. Gosh, that's such a tongue twister. You guys, Admiral Whack ass hail. I gotta say this too, which is that the great thing about art and why comics affected me is that it's art that meets you where you are. It's art that sort of hits you and kind of reaches you at a point and at a place where it's accessible to you. And the stuff that reached me in Chattanooga was, the comic books. And that's where I learned these things, and the action movies. I wasn't going to get it from some, small film that only 100 people saw. And pop culture used to provide us with that, that service of giving us models and people to look up to. Hail, Angela Curry. It's great to see you. And same thing for you, Luke. It's great to see you too as well in Apex Comics. But I really do think that what has been fascinating to me about that is that you're seeing a lot of skilled people coming together right now in CG who have a similar sensibility about what we benefited from our culture. And I think if there's one thing that CG has that is drawing so many people to it, is that when you're around more skilled people, the biggest thing manga benefits from is the talent pool is so good, because it's basically kill or be killed, in the sense of kill it with your work, because they're not really directly competing with each other. They're competing to do excellence in a field of excellence.
Right.
Like during the time of Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and George Foreman, being an average heavyweight was being incredible. It's your talent
Right.
pool around you that rises you up. I mean, if anything, people like Mike Tyson, career-wise, even though he'll go down as one of the greats, obviously, but they suffered from not having enough great competition around them. And you see industries just atrophy. We benefit when we get Kenneth Roquefort's book in front of us and his artwork, or when we see Dale Keown just hit one out of the park. When we see Art T. Bear smash through six figures, and Aaron Lopresti, and all of the great stuff that's going on right now. And it's a motivation in a way that you can't get from mediocrity being around you. And also, gosh, from the passion of the chat, passionate people in the chat, man, you guys lift us up. And that's why I know Nosfero is going to continue to grow. And I know, like, when we say things, it sounds crazy, but it's like, our target is 50K. Our target is six figures with Truth, Justice, American Way.
Absolutely.
It will happen. It will happen. Period. I mean, I make this joke all the time, and people, I know Shane Davis has made this joke, but I have a very particular interest in hitting 25K and getting to those trading cards on Nosfero the Cryptwalker. And I'll tell you why. It's $1,000 more than the most I was ever paid in 1 year to work at Rhode Island School of Design. And that's embarrassing to them. And I'd love to see Comicsgate obliterate that. But you see so many people who are just, and the idea of doing all this stuff, on our own and making this stuff happen. I'm somebody who loves teaching, this, loves helping people. It's like you when you're coaching, you've got a passion for it, and you want to help people to be able to achieve things. But there is some beautiful poetry in the fact that I'm already crushing, a lot of the goals I set for myself as minimum goals for this. And now I'm starting to expand things, and we're going for those stretch goals, man. It's awesome.
Right. Absolutely.
God, I love your colors, man. Is there a way to make me smaller still so that I'm as big as you are in your frame, but your artwork's bigger?
Only you can help yourself lose weight, Shant. I cannot make you smaller.
Listen, my doctor told me that I'm big boned. But I think I have like 20 extra bones. What's up, Don Edwards, SD0, Julie Pascal, good to see you. Mayfield Jukes, gosh, I gotta get hooked on phonics, y'all. Scott Lee, Luna Comics, great to see all of you guys.
Right.
Yeah, dude, your colors are beautiful, man.
Thank you.
Seriously. And listen, this, we are not lacking in the color department in Comicsgate. So, to be excellent here is very different than to be excellent other places. Dang.
Yeah. Don Edwards, don't do. I'll critique your work. If you want me to. You can always DM me on Twitter, Instagram. If I don't get back to you, it's because I'm busy. But I try to get back to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll look at stuff. Don't send me story ideas because I'm a writer. So please don't send me story ideas unless you're already like have it done. Like, oh, I have 5 pages drawn and colored and all that. Don't send me a lot of story stuff because I don't want it in my head.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I tell you what, I know you probably do as well. You've got like, many a story going on right now. Oh, by the way, did you notice I'm leaning into the hat group status?
Really?
Of Comicsgate. I hand painted in acrylic and my Nosfero hat that I'm wearing.
No, I was going to comment on your hat that it looks great, and I said, "Oh, you printed hats," but you didn't. You painted that.
I just painted. The coolest thing about this stuff is if you use gold paint, it will always be readable because the lights reflect off of it.
Wow.
The webcams do. So I do stuff like, let me see if I can zoom in on that.
Yeah. Get it in there.
There you go. You can kind of see it's
It'll
got like a
focus in a
blue
second
outline.
here.
There we go. It's got a blue outline around it. And then
Yeah,
pen.
no, I thought it looked great. I
There
thought
you
it. Oh,
go.
there you go. Focused. It looks fantastic. Great work. So
Yeah,
what
I
did
mean,
you do?
it's
Did you do like
just
a black?
acrylics.
Okay, was it black underpainting or what'd you do?
No, I mean, I just used I used acrylics and a Sharpie and the new acrylics they've got, man. It's
Yeah.
the acrylics, 20 years ago when we were kids were like garbage compared to what you can get now. I
Right.
mean, shoot, house paint now, man. Do you remember painting rooms when you were younger? And it took like 80 coats, and now they make
Right.
stuff that coats it in 2. It's like ridiculous, man.
Yeah. No, my dad has a bunch of rentals, so he's always buying paints and yeah, it has changed. I worked at Home Depot when I was in college, so I'm
Nice.
familiar with the paints. I kid you not. I worked at the Home Depot in Greeley, Colorado, when I went to the University of Northern Colorado. There
Mm.
was a guy we caught about 4 or 5 times. He would come in. I'm not making this up. He would come into the paint department with like a little red Solo cup, steal a bottle of spray paint, and go, pss, and then go, and like get
Oh my
high.
lord.
Don't do that. Anyone in the chat or watching, don't do that. It'll damage your brain. And we go, hey, what are you doing? And he'd be like all blue or gold and like run out the front door of the store.
Well, I mean, this is the thing too, Gabe. What advice do you have for anybody who might have done that too much, like someone named Sean? Hypothetically, I'm kidding. No, I've never.
Well, if
that was me, Gabe.
if you've done it too much, then get yourself
You'd
a
know.
get yourself a helmet and wear it at all
Yeah,
times.
you wouldn't be finishing sentences at that point, man. That's a rough way to go. I mean, but I will tell you this, guys. It's like we're at all these channels are growing. I think we got yesterday. We got we got Eric the Guapo on my stream. We got him to 100 subscribers. I'm still on the hunt to get 1,000. So if you guys aren't subscribed to my channel, definitely go check it out. Yeah, I have a decent head of hair. It's thinning like crazy. CG thins your hair. The stress.
Put the link in.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'll do it.
Luna wants to know if we do art lessons. No, I don't. I'll give advice on here casually. You want an art lesson? Buy this. Okay, buy everything by Andrew Loomis, and then just read these books, and then eat the books, and then everything he says in the book, do it 1,000,000 times, and you're golden if you do that.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Andrew Loomis has like 3 great books. You can get them on Amazon. Go get them. Do everything he says over and over and over, and in just about a short 6, 7, 8 years, you'll be a master illustrator.
Yeah, I mean the thing about Loomis, I always would joke with my students about when I was teaching was I'd say that Loomis, that his children were very, very had very particular religious beliefs. Their interpretation of it, they didn't like that there was, they felt like the nude figures in there and all that stuff wasn't appropriate. So they were very, specific, and we can respect that. But his grandchildren apparently were capitalists. And that is why we got all of those reprints of those books. Finally, they were like going, what? We're going to print these things, because people had been asking for quality prints of those books forever. And then they came out and everybody just snatched them up. I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say about people wanting prints. When I was in college, one kid in my printmaking class brought a CD to school back when we did things on CDs, and it had all of the Loomis material on it.
So good.
So everybody just installed it on their Mac at home, and it's not really piracy because the stuff wasn't in print. Where was I supposed to get it? But to make up for having a pirated copy, allegedly, it's not true. It's a story I'm making up. I bought all the volumes, so I do have them. I bought them on Amazon and paid for them all. But yeah, a kid showed up with those with the CD with all the Loomis books in a PDF.
Well, I don't know if it's true or not, but I do know that a friend of mine who's worked in this kind of area and studied copyright law and piracy, and I'm not encouraging piracy by any stretch here, but he did say that for a lot of people, for a particular group of people, they find there's this odd parallel that when people see something and they like it, they will actually go out and seek a hard copy of it. Now, I don't know if that's true across the board. I don't know if that works for movies or other things, but I will tell you, a lot of the people I know who love comics have like 4 and 5 copies of the same run or trade paperback. I mean, I have 2 copies of the Dave Stevens Artist Edition, the Artisan Edition, and then like every version of the Rocketeer they've released.
Right.
It's like I love that. And I have several Blu-ray copies of my favorite movies. So it's You know, I love that stuff. I got to get Showdown Little Tokyo on Blu-ray though, because I feel like I need to have it
I
physically
got
in my
a
collection.
Bloodsport, or is it Lionheart / Showdown in Little Tokyo Blu-ray.
Ooh,
It was a 2-pack for
nice.
like $9 on Amazon.
Heck yeah.
So,
I'll be looking that up.
yeah. Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah, I do have it though. Let's see. I'm just checking on the chat here real quick. Oh, good. We got another sub here. Gabe,
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to Beef Law. I grew up in the 80s watching those action martial arts movies and played the arcade Double Dragon. I love
Oh,
Double Dragon. I
love
got
Double
in
Dragon.
trouble for staying at Frankie's Pizza when I was 10 years old because some older boys, I was a fifth grader, some like high schoolers, they were going to beat it, and I could never beat it. And my brother and I watched them play Double Dragon with, endless quarters for like 2 hours. And when we got home, we got yelled at because my mom couldn't find us. There were no cell phones back then. This is like 1989 or 88 or something like that. But we did watch them beat Double Dragon. So,
Well,
Sean, I don't know if you heard me talking earlier. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of doing Beef Law as a manga, like a manga graphic novel. I want to do it black and white with like Zipatone and all that. Do it in the digest size. I was reading Berserk the other day. I'm thinking about Blade of the Immortal, one of my favorite comics of all time, Blade of the Immortal. I thought, I want to do this. I think I want to do that. I think I want it to be longer, more pages. And then like Akira, you have those long action scenes. So I need a lot of pages. So it's just like, maybe if I did a digest, it was like 120 pages or 80 pages, something, I could do it that way. And I think it would work. I just have a feeling it's suited for that. What do you think?
I think, I love the art style of Berserk, and I think, that artist very much, like many artists, came from the school of like, Fist of the North Star and that kind of thing. So I think it could totally work. I think the biggest thing with Beef Law is is the potential concerns, because you're doing the original so large that the nerds amongst us may want to smell the ink lines,
Right.
the brushwork, put our nose to it. But I will tell you this, I think that sounds like a great idea, because I think that people have already taken the premise to heart.
Right.
You hear people bringing up Beef Law. I mean, it's not like you're talking about it every single stream. They're bringing it up. And when you got something like that, man, it's like, I think there's an audience for it. So how many pages would you be doing it in terms of like, because, obviously you want to make sure, however many pages you need to tell the story, it's
right. Well, right now I have it at like 50 or 60, and I'm just like, this is too short. This is too short. I want to have long fight. I want to have 8 or 10 page fight scenes sometimes with all kinds of great poses. And you know what I mean? I really want to stretch out the fight scenes. So it's just endless, like Jack Kirby double spreads. You know what I mean? I want to just have insane stuff in there. So I think I need to do it like that. I really think I do. I love Blade of the Immortal. He would always have these awesome fight scenes. And then like on the finishing killer move, he would do this like mandala, those like circle, like kind of design. And he's chopping the bad guy into bits. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I'll look one up and show it to you. But Blade of the Immortal is one of the greatest mangas of all time.
And also, the thing about manga too, though, is, and I know I'm sure we've got some serious manga people here in the chat, as you know. B-Rose will be here in a minute, knowing that manga's in the air. But this is the thing for me, which is, I think that that they also have, the stories broken up into shorter sections and a lot of the digests that come out. So they do both episodic and then the big collections once, the story arc is there. I could be wrong, so somebody correct me if I am. But so I think there's a lot of different ways you could approach it, doing different versions. Oh, heck yeah.
So when the fight is over and this guy, hold on. Let me click it on my other page. I don't want to show something nasty if they show. So like in the final image of the fight, when he cuts the guy's head into 4 pieces, he'll have this full page splash. You see the guy's head splitting on the top. And there's like those, the famous wave painting at the top, the Mount Fuji, and Mount Fuji's over there in the corner.
The Hokusai.
Yeah. And then let me, as I browse through, and then he'll have let's see, other ones where he's just, I don't know. I just think the action in this stuff is so, I mean, look at how great this stuff is. He'll do some of the book just in pencil.
Yeah.
And then he'll ink some of it. And it's Manji's the main character, and he can't die. He has these worms in him that if he gets cut to pieces, the worms like rebuild him. And he has to kill like 100 super evil guys in order to finally die or whatever like that. Blade of the Immortals are an amazing comic. They made a cartoon on Netflix that I thought was sucky, to be honest.
But this is the thing, right? This is what we're up against. Like, and I mean that in the best sense, like in terms of raising our game and steel sharpening steel and all that kind of stuff. Like when I go to write Nosfero, sometimes I will actually use as a definition of, or as a litmus test for an idea, I'll go, does this feel a little too out there? And then I'll go, could they do it in manga? And if I say, yep, they would, then I just do it. I just make it happen, because it's, things like that you'll see in Berserk. I've got the giant, hardback volumes up over there. I'll start an avalanche if I reach for them, but and I'm glad to have them in a more prestige sort of format. But I look to books like Berserk. I try to cross Berserk with Frank Frazetta when I'm doing my action sequences. Right. Because there's a way to action in comics that's different than in paintings or in film. It's this. It's like there's a flow to it that it's in film. You've got that one aspect ratio, but you can actually, again, just saying stuff you and I both know, but you can change the speed of a read by the orientation and the format of the panel. The claustrophobia of those verticals or the openness of the wide format, and so that's the stuff I try to get out of it, get out of comics, and Berserk is awesome.
Well, I think the manga, the anime is eating Western pop culture's lunch. They're killing them because they're not beholden to SJW virtue signaling style entertainment. Virtue signaling style entertainment is you're not true to yourself as an artist. You're validation seeking with your art. You're like, it's that stupid Marvel Cinematic Universe sense of humor. Looks like you're gonna need a hand, like maybe two hands. Yeah, like everything has that tone that goes up, and it's like, oh, is this the Big Bang Theory or is this Iron Man? And I think what I find in the Japanese stuff, they don't do any of that. They're just like, hey, this is a crazy three-eyed troll from the other dimension, and you need the fire power crystal to stop him. And it seems like American artists are too embarrassed to write corny stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, that isn't cool. It's like, it actually is really cool to be vulnerable, put yourself out there with a wild idea. But the American stuff is just so boring and formulaic and tame. So I want to go over the top on Beef Law,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's that sense of play. Like I've felt this for a very long time that sophisticated experimentation and improvisation is something that is essential for making great artwork. And I think that that's what, when you read something like Vampire Hunter D, and I'm trying to remember, and you've got a hand that's got a face in it that talks to the guy.
Right.
These are things that are, do you know what I mean? It's like,
it's the playfulness of imagination. And you don't see it in American stuff anymore. And that's why you and I do Double Impact, because that playfulness was there in the, look at Big Trouble in Little China. It's playful. It's crazy. You have a beholder monster in the hallway. Like, what are we talking about? It's crazy. And Star Wars, it's crazy. Blues Brothers, crazy. Groundhog Day, it's crazy. It's not hateful. It's not cynical. It's not narcissistic. That's why I brought you in here talking about Groundhog Day and how touching and beautiful that movie was. That he had to live the same day over and over and over as a test to go from this horrible, selfish, cynical, narcissistic bastard. And then he can't get out of the time loop, right? And he's like, well, then I'll just do whatever I want. He's a robbing banks and seducing women. And he uses every day to do the worst. And then he starts using the days to start doing the best. And by the end of the movie, that he has that perfect day, he saves a few lives. He lifts people up. He helps that couple get married. He's sweet to Rita. He realizes, oh, it's not me I'm supposed to be worried about all day. If I can make everyone else have their best day, then I'm living right. And he was trying to make himself have the best day. And then by the end, he realizes, no, it's about loving other people. What a beautiful story.
Eternity. He experiences eternity without purpose, and he experiences life without consequences, and he realizes that it is a hell not worth living in. And then when he realizes that he can't even get to hell, like that he can't even end his life, he's forced to confront the thing that is the whole point of being alive on this planet, which is confronting the opportunity in every day, every moment, and reaching for it and going for it. And it's it's amazing to me that when you watch a movie like that, it enriches your day. It's a work of fiction that helps you to see your life differently. And, you know, when we talk about imagination, there's a move in Showdown in Little Tokyo that may be, you know, at least to me, it seemed like it'd be unrealistic to do in a fight. Now it's probably done in MMA all the time. But there's a move that Brandon does in a restaurant fight where he throws a jab, I think, or he throws a jab and then he does a spinning fist and then follows up with a straight, you know, a straight left. And it's done really quickly, but it's the kind of graceful, but then also it was American and it was like Hong Kong action. It was a mixture of both, you know, much like Jeet Kune Do. But he does that kind of move, and it's that graceful kind of Fred Astaire, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know, move that looks great in cinema. Manga understands how to do that flow in panels, and so do a lot of the great, you know, Comicsgate, you know, artists that we have right now.
Right.
And so all of us are just kind of like, let's do this thing, you know, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
We can do anything.
Right.
You know, we can do anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm closing in on about 20 pages of Wraith of God left.
Yeah.
And then promoting Truth, Justice, American Way. But as soon as I finish Wraith of God, I'm starting Beef Law again. You know, I've got some of it done. But I'm going to have to go back and say, you know what? I want to do this longer. I do want to do this as a manga. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, shoot. Did I tell you? I think I forgot to tell you this. Aaron Lepresti actually just called me today and told me that you can send me all of the Wraith of God pages you have. You don't have to check with him. Don't worry. He's good.
Right.
Yeah, he wanted me to pass that on to you. But you don't need to check with him. He told me.
Hold on. I'm clicking send right now.
Wouldn't that be great if, like, right now, Shelly appeared behind me? You know, wouldn't it be great if Shelly appeared behind me right now and just like sleeper hold, took me to the ground and then disappeared off frame?
No, no. It's my understanding those are not like just web-sized JPEGs, but they were in fact the full-size CMYK GIFs, right? The print file.
That was what those were his wishes.
Yeah, he had mentioned something about that last week to send you the whole book. So we'll do.
Yeah, man. We'll do. But no, dude, that, like, I'm so glad you're coloring that, because when I saw the inks on that and the finishes he was doing, man, it's so beautiful. And the thought of your colors on that just makes it like, it's like when I see the stuff coming out of Snowman, A Cold Day in Hell. Love that stuff.
Yeah, crazy.
You know, yeah, it's the colors. I mean, I just love. Who's the colorist on Snowman?
Is it Ritter? I don't even know. It's not Ritter.
It's somebody else.
I forgot. Ethan said it before. I don't know.
It looks great. I mean, we've got some heavy hitters, man. And then you're again triple threat. Love the stuff you're doing on Beef Law. I know that's why everybody keeps bringing it up. You know, it's like we've got David Williams, Gary Martin, and yourself working on Truth, Justice. So that's like your first, like, you know, hit out of the gates, and it's going to get bigger. And then as this stuff gets bigger and this stuff works, it just frees us up to do more stuff. You know,
right.
It's the coolest part of this.
Yeah, I'm having a ton of fun. Yeah, and I'm glad that I started letting people in on the story of this. I've seen a huge difference in the funding and the response and the enthusiasm. But, you know, it's just a learning curve for me, I guess, on that. So, but I think, do you think you'll be? I mean, I know you don't know for sure, but do you think you'll be able to help me close out Wednesday night?
I will find a way, even if I'm on a crappy phone connection. I'm going to totally do it. I'm going to be bringing my laptop with me, and I'm planning to have the best setup I can. I just can't know what the Wi-Fi is, but we'll figure it out. It'll happen.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do a 3-hour stream. I think I'll go from 9 o'clock here until midnight when it actually closes. I think I'll do that. It's kind of late, but whatever. Maybe I'll start at 8 o'clock. I don't know.
Later's better for me anyway, because that's when everybody's, you know, down anyway. So
right. Let's see. Anything else here? Told me to get those. Oh, okay. Yeah. No, right. I'll just I'll put it on like GitHub, and I'll just put a link out. Everyone can download it.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here in a minute, but what are you doing the rest of the day, and where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on my YouTube channel. The link is in the chat. I'll paste that in there again for you guys. And so, yeah, hit subscribe on that. And then I'm going to be, I may do a stream later tonight. I'm still, you know, we've got some stuff going on we got to take care of, but I'm just, you know, past the halfway point on the art on Nosfero, and I'm doing everything on this painted comic. So please back it and check it out. And just looking forward to closing out the first 30 days of Truth, Justice, American Way this week. That's what it's all about.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Wednesday night, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the link for Shant is right there. It's in the chat. Please subscribe to his channel. Let's get him to 1,000 so he can get monetized already. He wants a super chat so bad. I want to send him the first one and make him read something that he hates or something. So
Why do I have a feeling that it'll be, this is the problem with us, right? It'll probably be something soulful. It'll be some like Stoic philosophy quote or something.
Right,
I know how we are.
Yeah.
C.S. Lewis quote, break me up.
Right. Paul thought he was subbed, and now he is.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
There we go. And you're not going to get this anywhere else in the mainstream. Look at the way I'm rendering those breasts with such care. I'm making sure that I'm following the principles of light and physics, color theory. I make sure that I deliver the best rendering on stuff like that to you guys. Absolutely.
The colors, I mean, I was up close on those too when I was doing the trailer, not just the breasts, by the way, and on the artwork. And I was just, I mean, you guys are like such an amazing group working together. It's like Beatles working on a comic, man.
Well, thank you.
Gary Martin, David Williams, and yourself. And then you've got the three main characters. It almost seems like it mirrors the the project itself, man. I love it. I dig it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And let me give the 1-minute pitch, I guess, for anyone that's in here
please.
that doesn't know. What is this book about, Gabe? It's one of the most amazing looking comics, and you didn't tell me what it's about. You're right, and I was wrong for that. Let me take a drink first. Truth, Justice, and American Way are the most beloved heroes in America. Kids everywhere, they wear the t-shirt, play with the toys, they're eating the cereal, watching the cartoon, and playing the video game all at once, believe it or not. These heroes, they're on all the late night talk shows, making everyone laugh with delight. And it's one of the great love affairs between the public and celebrity. It's like Beatlemania, Bieber Fever, all rolled up into one, and Beaver Fever, whatever the hell that is. One day, at the height of their popularity, absolute disaster strikes. Many, many lives are lost. And then the fallout from that, and we all know how social media, cancel culture, 24-hour news cycle, we all know how that all works. In the fallout from this disaster, people in the news start saying, did our heroes, Truth, Justice, and American Way, did they do everything they could to save lives? Because it sure looks like they didn't. And when they look into other past attacks and disasters, it looks like they were just in love with being celebrities. And lots of people have been killed that shouldn't have been. And like that, social media firestorm, everyone turns on them. The government and the military after them. Their friends want nothing to do with them. Their bank accounts are frozen. They have to flee from their awesome base that everyone knows where their base is because everyone loves them. They go underground. They go on the run. And they have to figure out who did this horrible attack and why. And can they even trust each other to figure this out? And they don't have much time because if they don't figure this out soon enough, another disaster is coming. And this time, it'll cost millions of lives. That is what the first thrilling edition of Truth, Justice, American Way is all about. Be taken all the way down to zero, your life shattered. And we show you there's a way back. If you just rely on your principles, on your heritage and all that, and you rely on each other's family, there's a way back. So I can't wait to bring this to you guys. It's a passion of mine, messages like this, with art like this. I couldn't be happier, and I feel so privileged to do this for you guys. So if you've already supported it, thank you so much. I can't explain to you what it means to me to be able to make independent comics and support my family with them and make dreams come true for Dave and Gary and myself. You guys are the best for doing that. And if you haven't bought it, please click on the link because I think that pitch, I think it's enticing. So what do you say, Sean?
I say there's 3 great creators working on this project, and when you contributed to it, you are basically putting their ability to create comics and putting it on a solid foundation. And that's what's so great about it. And so whenever you're contributing to this book, I'm backing 3 covers because there's 3 artists I'm backing. So that's just me. You can go your own way however you want to. But it's we're showing people that the comic book fans, the true blue, dyed-in-the-wool fans of comics and original creations will vote with their wallets and take care of creators better than the mainstream can. And that's the thing I love about Comicsgate.
Well said, friend. Well said. Well, okay. I'll see you later today or tomorrow, but I'll definitely hope I see you Wednesday night for the closeout of the first 30 days of Truth, Justice, American Way.
Yep.
Please check out Shanth everywhere online. Shanth and Jetty Art. He put his link in the chat. Subscribe to his channel, and we will talk to you guys later. Thank you so